How's it going, everybody? It's me, Shane. I'm here to give you another Trigun Stargaze episode review. It's episode 2, Unforgiven. And before we go further, what will be Unforgiven is you don't hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell, make sure you share the video, and check out that Patreon in my description. So, we're back with that follow-up. Last week was featuring Meryl and Millie more so. And a lot of this one is featuring, with that guy who I found out his name was Hoppered. I forgot to double check, and I might as well do it live to see if Hoppered was in the original series. When we got his name, it kind of came out of nowhere. I'm going to assume that he told Jessica his name before, in between parts, but I don't actually remember Hopper showing up in the old one, but apparently he did. He was in the 1998 one. Hoppered the Gauntlet, member of the Gung Ho Gungs. He's the 6th Gun Ho Gung in the manga and the 3rd in the anime. Oh, okay, yeah. Before the events of July, Hoppered was a compassionate individual that took care of a blind woman. Wow, this is so it's basically 1-to-1 from manga and the other one to this one here. That's actually kind of cool, although he looks a lot less messed up in the manga. I'm kind of looking at some of the panels here. Wow. That's actually pretty dang cool. I need to rewatch that original Trigun, I'm realizing, but not enough time. So here, another thing I need to talk about before we get straight into this episode. I'm realizing that the art that we saw at the end of last episode, it wasn't for the episode we were watching. That is concept art for the stuff that we're gonna see. So we saw, Hoppered on the rocket gauntlets. We saw the town and all that other stuff. So I'm liking the flashes that they're showing. We'll talk more about the artwork for the next episode, but let's continue talking about this one, right? Another thing I need to speak on is that Zazie the Beast was featured pretty heavily in the last episode, and come to find out, after I was done doing my review and looking up things for a thumbnail, it turns out that Miss Tarako, who played the voice of Zazie from Stampede in that first episode, she apparently passed away March of 2024. So, rest in peace, Mrs. Tarako. Apparently her role will be filled by a Miss, I have the information right here, Miss Minami Takayama. So, she did a really excellent job of, that character had it looks like a child, obviously. Most of these ageless beings look like that. But there was halfway between, is a point between dangerous and playful. That's kind of what you get from Zazie. Zazie's yeah, I could kill you right now, but I kind of want to mess with you a little bit, see what's going on, see where your head is. Very interesting character. I am also, no pun intended, interested in seeing Minami Takayama's portrayal of this character. So, I had to remind myself who Jessica was, kind of just by watching this episode, because that intro, first of all, the intro set the tone, because was it Tombi from Stampede? It's yeah, this shit's gonna be sad. This is kind of gives you a feeling like stuff is gonna get wild, but at the same time, it's still a sad ass show. Let me give you some of this. A lot of it was more moving clips now, although because for some reason I remember a lot of actual action and moving in the intro from last week. But here's here's Jessica with her I Heart JSC pin. And I liked this intro because we got to see the villains. We did see Hoppered, and I'm pretty sure they showed his name in there. If I double check my notes, no, No, but we saw him. We saw Puppet Master. We saw Horned. What is his name's Horned Beast. Guy that plays the saxophone. That's a saxagun. I like all the little names and stuff in there. It's a good touch if you want to rewatch this over and over again just to look at it. I feel like each intro is gonna have different visuals but all be very similar. I don't know how right I am on that. I'm gonna go back and rewatch the first episode so I can make sure I got that. But I like that we just went right on into this. Jessica is from that colony, from the one ship that fell but everybody didn't die, that had Brad on it. Remember that Brad that was an a-hole to this guy here. Yeah, I almost forgot. As soon as I saw Brad, I was like, that's who these people are. They were calculating. They know that the transmission from the ship, that was real. And this is the basic plot for this episode. For centuries, they have been playing a message, just hoping against hope that maybe more humans that were leaving Earth would catch the signal, and they did. Now, the lady that's in charge, I forgot her connection to Vash. I just know that's his home. I know Meryl came there with him. I think Thomas did too. So we know that's his home. Regardless of such, she was telling them, hey, don't let your guard down. This is hope. This is great. This is good news. But we still got to be on guard. I like that. Because as soon as she says that, the bad guys come in. And what I notice is the shadows on the walls. I'm pretty sure it's Puppet Master too. But the shadows on the wall are drawn. We're going to get to more of that in a second. I like the little... This is something that I gush over with the latest Digimon shows, with how characters have their own personality. I liked that, Jessica, she is obviously black. I like when Brad tried to touch her hair. She's like, don't do that. I like that little touch. They don't think I didn't see that. Also makes sense that she has to wasn't she the kid that was hiding in the ship? I haven't seen Trigun Stampede. Oh man, was that like 2023? Yeah, that's like 3 years. I haven't seen it in a long time. So rewatching and seeing some of these characters really sparked my memory. Essentially, Vash's prosthetic arm has a tracker in it. Even though it's been 2 years, Brad's like, you should be able to find him, bring him to us, and just tell him to come and help us. Turns out they wanted to go look for him, but they really couldn't. At least that's what Jessica was saying. I know that storm that they're in is supposed to technically protect them from like knives / Nye and all of his fury, which is crazy because it seems like he already knew that they were there, given that they broke in. Now, Hoppered, who found Jessica, wrapped her head because she hurt herself, carries her to Vash and says, Eric's, has lost memory, but that's, given what happened in July. We got to talk about Hoppered's backstory here. So let's talk about for a second, because I know I try not, at least with this show, because it's not going to show well. Why? And if people actually watch the show, if people actually watch and pay attention, and this is very hard to do because it's blue and this screen is hard. That's hand drawn. If not hand drawn, like kind of traditional drawn, even what you're doing on a tablet, that is hand drawn. That's not this cell shaded. We see her like this. That's obviously Eric's. I'm not even gonna. If you're here, it's spoilers, right? And we go back. When we go back, looking at her, this is back to the cell shaded look, kind of like that Guilty Gear Xrd Revelator Strive. I almost forgot Strive. Even I think at the very end here, where he meets her, where Hoppered meets her in Afterlife, this is hand drawn. I sincerely part of me, like I've gotten used to the look of the show. Part of me wishes they would have just done the whole hand drawn thing. That would have been, imagine where this show would be, like how much fanfare it would have gotten if they would have done that. I'm interested in that because so many people. It was funny because 3 years ago we didn't have this huge boom in this artificial AI BS. So I wonder if people would accept it now. But I've still seen people complain, like, "Go, I don't know if I want to watch it because of how it looks." Which, yeah, how anime looks is what's going to attract you to it, but can't call it trash if you don't look. That's just my opinion. Can't call it trash until you look. So Hoppered, you saw her in the trash. Apparently, he was living in the gutters of July. Would leave out of there, come back, and when he's in the gutters, he found this girl beat up. I guess she was blind or blinded, and was taking care of her. Well, I love that if you keep watching this, there's such subtlety in parts in this episode, and I'll talk about the subtleties later. But I guess he found whoever did that to her. She reassured her that she'll be okay. Was taking care of her, and the July incident killed her. We even see the moment where she's about to die. Although it's just a flash of light, she's sitting there, and it's just July is just a crater, and it broke him. It broke this guy. Although, is he a gung-ho gun in here? Because he's supposed to be. And I'm looking. You look at the guy. He's huge. He's huge upper body, tiny little legs. You're thinking to yourself, was he a failed experiment? Was he like the little boy that Vash knew that they turned into that Hulk? That what was the guy called? Something the Wind. I feel like his name was, right. Essentially, when Jessica shows up, it's so interesting. The conversation between Jessica and Hoppered, where she's like, "Well, I know that's Vash. Why are you calling him? Where the name Eric's come from?" He doesn't say anything, and she gets it. She's very mature, right? Very mature, at least emotionally, maybe situationally as well. Because she's thinking, she's upset. She's like, man, all the suffering he's gone through. Even Hopper's like, what happened? It's only natural he would have amnesia, right? And, while he's in this catatonic state, he's just pressing one key on the piano. And every time he presses the one key, you could tell, and I can't tell, but you can see how it pushes Jessica to tears, and she's like, maybe I should just leave him like this because we need the help, right? We're getting killed out here, but damn, he's suffering a lot. In 2 years, we couldn't even get to him. So, and Hopper makes a decision, throws a 6-shooter across the floor, goes, I'm gonna kill her if you don't come and get her at sundown, Vash the Stampede. I think it's called Moon Seeing Hill or whatever. And it's like, I like that they didn't show the blonde hair is blocking our sight to his eyes. And he shows up, but he's still in that state. Now, he ain't killed her yet. But, boy, now I'm going to start talking about the subtleties in a minute. But it's like Vash woke up when the gauntlets came on, and he flew past him and he dodged. And that nice moment, he's looking down, and then he looks up, and you just see the eyes don't really look glazed over. They didn't even make the eyes well, they kind of did. We saw it in like the last episode, but it's like he's here now. He knows what's going on. And he knows what's going on because he takes the hits. He's pushing Hoppered away. Before we get to the conclusion of this battle, I'm not even going to show you that. Before we get to this conclusion, let's talk about those subtle moments, right? Like, I want to say Hoppered's speech. So hold on a second here. Hopper took took care of Eric's. Like, she would cover herself. He would wash her as best he could. Brushed her hair, so he liked her hair. Fed her, the whole 9 yards. She wears this red. You saw, wears a red shawl. Now, hold on. He tells Vash, with all his missing teeth and one eye. Where is this? Because he thinks, well, he says he's been, this is what the bottom of darkness feels like. It has to be, right? Come on, I have it in here. So she died in that, right? And he says, you took from me, what you took from me was half of my entire being. It's interesting because he's this upper half and has no lower half. And it's kind of like you would think that the upper, what he took from him would be the heart. And we don't know how long he's been taking care of Eric's. It's implied that it's been a while, but it's implied that it gave him a reason to keep going. Let's talk about this, another subtlety, right? We know he was never going to try to kill Jessica because, well, he would have did it when he first found her, right? Even if she showed him, even though she showed him the picture of Vash and all that, she said Vash's name when she passed out. The subtlety of, yeah, they're not going to bother you anymore. They promised they wouldn't. As he reaches to touch the girl's, hair or face, you see blood. Like, he beat the hell out of them. He killed those dudes, obviously. That transition from the sundown twilight into the night, that was very well done. And then the transition from night to day, again, very well done. I liked in the end, well, yeah, I'll talk about this, but I like how in the end, he was playing that one note over and over when Vash was Eric's. I do like how they changed it, because that girl's name could not have been Eric's in the original. In the manga, her name couldn't have been Eric's. Yeah, it couldn't have been, because because Vash was called Eric's. At least I remember this from the anime, when that between the July incident and them having to find him, he was called Eric's in that. So the nice little swap around to give a reason why he was called that by Hoppered, by whoever found him, right? I'm pretty sure Jessica in the anime too was one of the little girl that was working / taking care of Mr. Amnesia here. But the piano, the one note turns into a somewhat sad song, right? He's playing it in full, and I like how it is a symbol of, Vash having to move forward. He was stuck before, now he has to move forward. And Hoppered wants Vash to kill him. Now Vash, the Stampede, dude is fantastic when it comes to a pistol. He just shoots the gauntlet in the same place 3 times to get it to malfunction, right? Goes and checks on Jessica, then goes to him. And Hoppered grabbed his hand, pulled the hammer back himself, and let it go while the gun was in Vash's hands, because he wanted to die. And Vash, before he won the fight, said, while I was out of it, I'm pretty sure you took care of me. You were kind to me. I don't want to kill you. You could have killed me at any time. Why? And when he's dying, hold on. When he's dying, he says, I won't kill you. You must survive in this cesspool of a world, all while coughing blood. He wants him to suffer. It's really unfair, because and that, because with the straight razor against his neck, because even Vash said, you could have killed me and I'd have been all right with that, because you took care of me, and because of him, the girl died. But that's really unfair to Vash, because the entire planet was going to be terraformed with plant crystals and stuff. All of them would have died. Everybody would have died regardless. It is. Vash the Stampede is the original Everybody Hates Chris. Everybody hates Vash. Sorry, dude. And while, Hoppered sees Erickson reaches out with a giant hand, Vash catches his hand. Vash is talking to him, asking him if everything would have been better had he never existed. And if you've never had someone or even had someone give you a hug from behind when you're in the thick of an emotional crisis, it is one of the best hugs ever. And that's just Jessica, gives him a hug from behind. They take time to bury the guy, right? But she gives him a hug. It's a very sweet moment. That whole sequence after the fight, that did get me. The whole team, I ain't gonna lie, that did get me tear up. It's, this show is, it's gonna have a bittersweet ending. Because the original had a bittersweet ending. I don't know how the manga ended. The manga had some different stuff in it, but boy, oh boy. And Vash walks out. I don't think he has his glasses, but he walks out with the same red coat / shawl that Eric's had. And I talked about subtlety as he's playing the whole entire movement that he's playing on the piano. On the piano is Eric's and Hoppered in a picture. Damn. The answer, so I like it when the answer was right there in front of you the whole time. Just, you can't see it. We can't see any of it at all. Oh yeah, and I can't not speak about how the show ends. So he showed up, and our reporter girls are in the car. This time Meryl's driving, and Millie's all smiles. So she's like, "Hey, Vash is back." They're saying Vash the Stampede has returned after 2 years. $60 million double-dollar man. And I love how Meryl's like, "Hey, first rule, you don't believe instantly what you hear. You have to go there yourself. You have to find out for yourself." And then she slowly starts smiling, not paying attention to what's ahead of her, because it's not really a road you're on sand. And lo and behold, when Millie says, "Look forward," who do they run into but Nicholas Wolfwood, the cross-bearer, the Punisher, comically flipping in the air. And that's how our episode ends. Next week's episode is going to be called Memento Mori. I love that art, that concept art. Looks like we're gonna have to fight, or Vash is gonna have to fight the puppet master. Hopefully everybody didn't die. Looks like the puppet master might have been puppeting, could have been children, I'm assuming, based on the shadows. But yeah. Ooh, if Brad dies, that's gonna be heavy. This episode's great. I gave the first episode 4.5 just because it felt good. It just wasn't nothing that made me go, "Oh, this is great." I like the little subtleties here, the stuff that you can infer. I like the emotion here. I really like those moments, when Vash looks down, and when he looks up, you, the viewer, can tell Vash is back in his right mind. The little moments where, they're not gonna bother you again. They promise. It's like, oh shit, there's blood on his hands. After Hopper dies, and Jessica touches her head, and it's the wrap he put on there. That dude never planned on killing her. It's just he wanted to die. He wanted to die that whole time. So, great episode. Please let me know what you think. We are so back. I feel like the new Trigun, we're probably going to get at least 3 seasons out of this. So you got Stampede, which is all about Vash. You have Stargaze, which is about them coming in. So the third one's going to be like Stabby McStabber, because it's got to be that confrontation with knives, right? If you ended in 2 seasons, I'd be very impressed. But it looks like they're mixing stuff from manga and anime, so this could stretch out a little bit more. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, please. Do not forget to, hit the like button, subscribe, share this video, and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified of more reviews like this one. And visit my Patreon in the description below. Guys, please be good, be blessed, wash your hands, drink some water, be good to yourself, be good to others. Either way it goes, please don't be a jerk. It is way too much of that BS going on in the world right now. So just be safe out there, okay? And if you're feeling depressed, you're feeling down and out, and you just, it feels like everything's crashing in on you, talk to someone, please. Reach out to someone, talk to someone. People would rather talk to you today than to miss you and mourn you tomorrow. People would rather help shoulder your burdens. I promise you that, okay? Talk to somebody, all right? You want to reach out and talk to me, my social media is in the description below. Make sure you give me a follow, say hello, be mellow, and we will be good to go. All right, y'all. I will see you next time for some more Trigun. Bang.